But yeah, playoff P is
Okay.
full effect, bro. He played like
They
ass.
say they call him Pandemic P.
Yeah, pandemic P. Yeah, bro, that shit is wild, bro. I don't know what's wrong with this man, Paul George, bro. He just proving everyone right. He's a poor man's KD, man.
That's another thing, yo. That's another thing. All this dude said. What Arena said on All the Smoke. He said Kawhi. He
Bro,
said there's no true leadership. He said Kawhi is too quiet. Like he could be the
Yeah,
star, but he's too quiet. You
you
don't have that vocal leader.
and you can
And
see it
Paul
on the floor,
George,
bro. Honestly, like he
yeah,
just comes off like that. He just comes off like nah. Like I'm pretty sure like he'll talk, but like he just doesn't carry that like the leadership thing. Like
carry that, yeah, demeanor, like yeah, exactly.
yeah, exactly.
And then Paul
Demeanor.
George,
Poor George can do it, but I don't know if he wants to.
look. You would have said Paul George. He playing like he's trying to get that starting back. He's not focused on being a leader. He's focused on trying to get back to who he was.
he like
That's
T Mac.
why, huh?
He's like T Mac. T Mac wasn't a leader, but he was a star player, and you figure since you're the star player and you're a superstar, that you get handed the title of being a leader.
Yeah.
I think, what's this guy name? Kawhi. He's just a locker room guy. He's not no. He's not a LeBron. He's not a Wade. Like he's not a J Kidd. He's not that type of leader. He's just a locker room guy. He's like a Danny Green, but he just happens to be a superstar.
Yeah, I don't get that team, bro. To be honest, I don't like that team. There's a couple of teams in the playoffs that I don't really like, to be honest. Like watching them play yesterday, it was like, ew. I don't. I don't know, man.
These teams are built. I don't know. It was again. This whole year has been weird. So it's like a change. There's a lot of young stars, a lot of development. So there's a lot of teams that are more on the rise, like the Knicks and the Pelicans and Charlotte,
Yo,
teams like that. So
the Knicks are like one superstar away from being like an elite team in the East. Cause that defense, bro. Honestly,
Back to
They
these
got
bum ass
plans.
Clippers, yo. They
He's
so
a
inconsistent, bro. Like
nothing to
Nah.
talk about with these guys,
bro, they should be way better than they fucking are, bro. I don't know why they play like that, bro. I honestly don't.
It's because you got again these you don't have a true playmaker on, or you kind of do in Rondo, but they don't use him too much. Yeah, Paul. I think he might have pulled something, but he back in the game.
Yeah, so
But yeah, I don't know. Clippers, they are weird. They did pick up DeMarcus Cousins too. I don't know how effective he's gonna be. He's been out the league, in and out the league these past couple of years. So
wait, who? What team picked him
Marcus
up?
Cousins.
Oh, he's on the Clippers. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
know
he
what?
picked up,
Kawhi,
huh? Yeah.
Kawhi and Paul George, they both have their best years with a true leader, a true alpha. Paul George in OKC with Russ. He had that MVP type year. Russ, he fell back a little bit. Kawhi, when he won the chip, he had Kyle Lowry. He had the coaching staff. Even when he was in San Antonio, he had Duncan, he had Pop.
Yeah.
But on their own, I don't. Yo, it's frustrating too because when you see them play against the elite teams and it's like a regular season game and they bust their ass and their defense is legit, Paul George and Kawhi going off, you be like, damn, this team dangerous. And then they have like an inconsistent ass game like yesterday. It's like, I know Luka is nice, but come on, bro. Like on paper, y'all should be having no problems with this damn team.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right about that.
Especially with all of the fucking defense they got from Pat Bev, Paul George at the 2, and Kawhi at the 3. Like,
yeah. I don't. Like I said, bro. I don't know. That team should be.
And who gives a shit about the Clippers? Oh, so got one team that Andre Drummond's gonna be real good against or real important against, which is the number one team in the West is Utah. If they meet them in the conference finals, I think that would be the team where Yeah, he'll be important. They have big
I
Rudy
disagree.
Gobert. Huh?
I disagree.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Remember, Rudy Gobert struggles when they go small. You get AD at the 5, it's over. What you gonna do with AD at the 5 and LeBron at the 4?
All right, but what you gonna do when Utah puts in all that energy on defense and wear you out? You just saw what they did to go. Oh, no, that was Grizzlies. But nah, when you wear a team out in the playoffs, it's different. It's different. You already know
That's a fact.
you can't think about all this run and gun shit. By the time you reach that point, you're tired. You got a lot of injuries. Everyone's hurt, and there's more hustle than and talent than it is, running and gunning and small ball and stuff. Like again, remember. Miami lost because they were dominated on boards, and Anthony Davis dominated on boards. And Anthony Davis is not even the best out of get rebounds. He's not the best rebounder. He didn't even average 10 rebounds this year or last year. They was out rebounding him, and it's because by that time in the playoffs, you're tired. You're missing more shots.
Yeah.
You have more possession through offensive rebounding. And if you don't have nobody who's going to stop you, you got Rudy Gobert in the middle, who's already bigger than Anthony Davis, and if you're tired, and he already went through an injury this year, so again, you want to relieve the pressure. You want to take him out the paint so you don't have to body up everybody, and that's why Andre Drummond comes in handy. Obviously, he's not going to be put in for the whole game. He's not going to be getting 30 minutes and all the possessions. I'm telling you, where his value is going to be on those boards. It's going to be those little stops here and there. People expect too much. People see stats and expect too much. It's the same thing that happened with Ben Simmons. I bet everyone talk about how his stats went down, but I bet you he's more valuable this year than he's been in the past couple of years. It's because it's his effective. It's like it's his spots where he goes and shoots. You don't need to do everything. You gotta have the talent, but you don't need to do it if it's not gonna be effective for the team. That's it.
He goes, that's it. Yeah.
What other game was on?
What happened?
Miami. We said Miami. And Giannis.
I can't believe not Giannis, but Middleton hit that game winner. That was wild.
That's
Yeah,
It was funny. I was up in Bear Mountain yesterday, and while the game was on, and oh my god, I saw like the game was close down in the middle. Like I had to put it on my phone, yo. I had to put it on and watch it, and it went to overtime. I was like, shit. I was hyped. Jimmy Butler made that layup,
Bro,
and then
Giannis was struggling the whole time, bro. Oh, yo, quick question: would y'all have fouled on that play?
who
At the last second when Giannis was on Jimmy and then he let him just lay it up.
No.
I'm fouling, bro. I'm taking it to the hard way.
Yo.
I'm not calling out my teammates for that because I feel like he was waiting for Brook to step up.
Yeah, I think they were setting it up. I think someone. Honestly, I think he caught Giannis because he was in the post. And he stepped back. He was in the post near the mid range. And he stepped out towards the three, sized him up. I think Giannis wasn't expecting that. And then instead of pulling up, he drove to the basket. I think he got froze. I don't think he had a chance to like make a move. He didn't know what he was gonna do.
I gotta watch that play again. I know he got the basket pretty easy, but I gotta watch the sequence again.
Yo, this dude Jimmy Butler had him in the post around the key. Probably near the wing, but near the key, near the, in the mid-range area.
Oh, wait,
I'm like 5 seconds left. It was a three. I said, yo, what the fuck is he doing? And then he just charges to the paint. I said, what? Wow.
Oh, nah, he was waiting for the help. I'm watching it right now. He was waiting for the help. I don't know about following him, but he was definitely, Myron's right. He was waiting for Brook Lopez to come over and help. And he probably thought, Jimmy, I'm kind of surprised Jimmy blew by him, though.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, that's a long dude, no homo. Like, he's like 6'11".
You didn't expect that, bro. Did you see the whole play? Did you see how the play started?
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
He didn't expect that.
He
He was
recovered, bro.
expecting the help, but he was waiting for him to shoot or drive to the basket and get some help. But he didn't expect that.
To be honest, most people, you're right. They just would have, hezzied, sidestep to the right, the baseline, and then fade. Because most people nowadays, I don't know why they do that stupid shit. You got the whole fucking baseline to fucking drive, and they fucking settle for a step back. Like I don't understand that stupid shit. So Butler,
Yeah.
that was
Most people foul when it's like a 3-point game and then like they'll stop a 3-pointer and they'll settle for like 2 free throws. Because either way you're not gonna get 3.
But then what Giannis fucked up is all right, Jimmy catches the ball. Yeah, Giannis fucked up because he forced him right. He was gonna force him left, but he forced him right. That's where he fucked up. But then again, if you you force him right, he'll probably kick to one of their shooters. I don't know. He'll be all right. They still won.
They won the game, right? It don't really...
What's our episode topic for this one?
Tell me again. It's business and friends. Nah, so wait. Let's start this podcast. Welcome to episode 17 of the Code 99 podcast. It's your boy Carl G. It's your boys Myron and Sprad.
It's your boy Sprad, what's up?
Chilling. Yo, did y'all get to see any of that JBP beef? Joe Budden podcast beef?
No. You guys got to fill me in.
What about you, Sprad? Did you get to catch up on any of it?
Yeah, I watched Miles and Roy's response.
Huh?
Yeah, so I watched Mal and Roy's response.
You watched the response?
Yeah.
Did you see what happened before? Like, the blow up, anything before that?
No, for some reason I was gonna watch it, but I in this incident, in this situation, I decided not to watch Joe Budden's like his part in it, because in this situation is always when it's a split, the bigger brand, the bigger name always looks like the hero, or they look victorious. So I wanted to watch more Mal and Roy's response. Kind
I
of
don't think that was the case. Yeah,
like
but I get you.
kind of like with like Jay-Z and Dame Dash. Everybody fucking knows Jay-Z's side of the story. And we look at him as, in a certain light, and then people always shit on, Dame Dash. So to me, it was more important to hear Roy's and Miles' response, but I'll catch up to it.
Well, I'll tell you this: I like to always hear both sides of the story. There's always gonna be here and there talks in here and there. It's always gonna be a he say and a she say. And I'm glad I heard both sides. And you gotta remember, Warner don't do the podcast by himself, so there's someone named Parks there who spoke up for them at different times. In their absence. It's interesting. Let me get into that whole thing, because let's get some background. Say about 2 months ago, they were potting. They what they're really known for on their podcast, obviously, is Joe Budden, but it's the camera shit that they have on the set. Talk all the guys shit. They get to chat and stuff. You can tell that they party a lot, together, and they do a lot together, For a couple podcasts, it seems like Rory and Joe were, I guess, like having tension. It was shown on a podcast, like to the point where, like, it seemed like, how like people joke around, but somebody's getting annoyed at you for joking around. Like that's what was happening, and it seemed like Rory was getting mad at Joe to the point it was like, I guess he was like something about inviting him. Like Joe Budden said, like Rory invited him to his hands, like to fight or some shit, He's like, I don't do that with friends. And then Roy was like, what happened if you aren't friends? And shit like that was going on. And just like, so like say 2 episodes after that, Rory and Mal don't show up on the podcast. They came back on the podcast, and this is what you missed too, Spad, when they actually came back on the podcast and they spoke. Rory, Mal, and Joe spoke on what happened all together. So there's no he said, she said. They all got to speak on their part. So Rory and Mal got to say their part in front of Joe, and Joe got to say his part in front of Rory and Mal.
And he fired them on air, right?
Huh?
And he fired them on air, right? Correct?
Fired them on air, but that was a few episodes after. And he took down the episode, and he made it a Patreon episode, but he took it down for public. And then the episode after that, he apologized because he realized that was unprofessional. You know, he an emotional ass nigga. That's why he took it down right away. Huh?
I said, yeah, we know that.
Yeah, so, like, again, that's why you got to listen to the whole thing, because you could... Joe Budden, he's so unapologetically him that, like, you could tell his faults, like, in it. You understand? He don't hide it, and he'll stick to it. You could tell his faults, and you could get both sides. Just back to, like, the backstory of everything. So there was an argument between, you know, the tension between Rory and Joe. Joe told Rory that, you know, you might want to take a couple episodes off. All found that disrespectful. But Mo asked Joe Budden, he said, "You have the authority to do that?" Joe Budden responded with, "Podcast is none of your business."
Woo!
That triggered Mo to take a step back. And so Rory and Mo both took a month off from the podcast, about 6 weeks altogether. They came back. They spoke on their parts, and for Mo, it was about respect more than anything. Mo felt like, you know, they friends personally, and that he should have some more respect, especially they've been in the part of the podcast for about 7 years. So it's like, for you to tell me that, you know, the podcast is none of my business was a slap in the face. He didn't respect that, and he made it feel like he was looking at him like an underling, you know, not like a friend. It came to Rory and Joe is more of a business thing. Rory is more on the business side of stuff. He you know, he has his lawyers and stuff, like management. He even spoke about this, like you said, on their response, that they found issues in accounting, and
Right.
and that should be accounted for.
Yes, it should.
They spoke about that, whatever, and it seemed like it was peachy. Not peachy. It seemed like, you know, it was that they went through it. They even did therapy. Joe and Rory, they did therapy together for it and all this other stuff. Fast forward a little bit. 2 episodes later, they take a week off. You know, just to, like, I guess, have a vacation. Blah blah blah. Joe Budden do a couple podcasts outside of his own. Then he comes back. Next thing you know, they're not there. He goes off, and that's the episode that got deleted. I was able to listen to it before it got deleted. Okay, found a site, but I'm not gonna put that on there.
Wow.
I found a leak. I got to listen to it. But yeah, so basically, I'm gonna say everybody's side. I'm gonna let you Spad speak on, you know, Rory and Mal's side, since you heard that side, all right? So on Joe's side, he's saying that this is bull, and this is crazy because the stories don't match. But this is what Joe said. He said that it was always Mal that was a part of the podcast, and then Rory came a part of, like, somewhere along the way, and so he never really, you know, equipped, or not equipped, but, like, he never envisioned Rory to be a part of the podcast. It just happened, and he didn't want him to have ownership or anything like that. Joe Budden talked about how he had this vision before they even started podcast. He was with Marissa Mendez. He did the podcast for academics. So by the time they sat down,
Right,
podcast together, you know, it was his YouTube channel. It's a Joe Budden channel. Everything that's aired on his stuff.
right.
So say, I guess, a couple years, like when they started getting a Spotify deal, Rory was, like, inquisitive on, you know, how much they was making. Joe didn't want to give him no information. Joe didn't want to give him that information because he didn't feel like he should share that information, because it's his. It's his deal. It's his money. It's his business. He has management. He has his own accountant. You know? So, like, to him, I think he was thinking Rory was just being nosy or he's like trying something. Rory asked for ownership over the podcast, like I guess a percentage of ownership. Joe said no. He asked for money from the YouTube channel. Joe said no. And that's mostly where their issues started. And this has been years in the making. They saying it's been the past couple years. It's been happening.
Quick question, Myra, how do you feel about that?
Honestly, bro, like,
We're gonna get to that. Let's get to the story, and then we're gonna get to that. That's the whole point.
Fair enough.
Because this podcast isn't about them. This is about friends of business. You know what I'm saying? I just want to give a backstory because it's very
True.
It's very
I feel me in.
it's very relatable. We're in business together, right? It's like, oh shit, it could get like that. What happened? You know. So let's say the question. Write that down, Sprout. Write that question down, Sprout.
Got you.
So where was I? Yeah, so that was his problem, and Mo, he was along the way. He was doing his thing. He said that, and he kind of tried to belittle Mo, saying how Mo didn't have nothing. He didn't even know if he had a home, all this other shit. He kind of
Right.
He didn't have to talk about him like that. That was disrespectful. But he's basically trying to say the ownership is his. It's his podcast. He put in the work, so like he don't have to share that stuff.
Joe said that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Joe, and the tension grew. They end up having the same lawyers or whatever the case may be, and they both started like peeking into his like account and stuff. And then like apparently and this is his interpretation, right? And he even had like a episode after that. He had a therapist on, like correct him on some of the stuff that he feels like he should have respect from. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you need to look at those scrap. Yeah. So he. I'm sorry, I was looking at some highlights. My fault. I just, when you see LeBron James hit a jump shot in slow motion, you kind of just look for a second. So Joe had his issues when it comes to that, and then he felt like his interpretation of them asking about the accounting was them trying to order him. He said the only way that you can get that information is if you order me, and if you order me, and we don't need to be friends, and we don't need to be working with each other. And that's where their main issue was, and that's how that escalated. So when it came to like to Joe, he just felt he felt like they were like trying to creep into what he was doing and trying to set him up, because then there was other talks where they were like talking bad about Joe, like in a group without him, and then I guess Parks text Joe and let him know that this is happening, blah blah, and that escalated from there, and that's how everything happened. And then he went on air. He was upset, I guess, and he went in and fired both of them. He said he didn't expect Maul not to show up. I know both of them weren't going to show up. Rory, I guess because there was no they had percentages. They get a percentage, I guess, of the podcast, but they don't have ownership of the podcast. It's like difference, Right. You get a percent of the stream. And he said also when it came to the YouTube thing, he said that you can use like the content. So like if it's on Joe Budden stuff, but your voice is on there and it's on the podcast, you can create your own YouTube account. Take that, content and put it on your stuff. Is instead of trying to take, I guess, the YouTube money that
seems justified. Yeah,
it's justifiable. I felt like that was justifiable, right? You could use the content. But you're not gonna take the money from my page. I thought that was justifiable. I'm not gonna say everything is justifiable, but I'm gonna let Spad say Rory and Mal spot now.
I don't remember much of their response, but I don't. I listened to it twice too. No, I listened to it twice too. I just feel like this is just common amongst I was gonna say our people, but in the industry. One person is like already in the door and you form. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I think this is just just something that happens to go on the industry very often. One person gets their foot in the door, they create a successful brand, service, product, then eventually They build a team. They hit another level in their career, and people, when a success comes, people start. Some people call it pocket watching. I'm pretty sure that's what Joe Budden calls. Is probably looking at it like they're watching his pockets. And then you have people like Rory and Mal, just like, you know what, you can take the grand share of the credit because you're the bigger brand, but we've
He had
helped
a
you
part in
take
it too.
this right, and we deserve more than chump change, basically. Um, I think. mm, it's and I hate it too because it's always when there's something good. If it was a shitty product, a shitty service, whatever it may be, and the group, the band, the team breaks up, I don't give a fuck. But when it's I'm pretty sure Joe Budden is probably a top 3, maybe even top 2 podcast. Um, Probably in North America and in the States. I just hate when it has to be something that's been so good. And like Carlton said,
They were just reaching to another level.
Say that again.
They're just reaching. They got an 8-figure deal with Patreon.
Damn, it was 8 figures.
Exactly.
No, they make 8 figures on Patreon, or they have a deal with Patreon. That's two different
They
things.
have a deal. So like, Joe has a position. It's like the head of director of creator or content creator, something like that. But he has 8 figures for the Joe Budden podcast. So
he makes 8 figures on Patreon. So that means people will pay him that much money collectively. Because that's what Patreon is.
That's what the contract, though. That's whatever the deal was. That's how much. I guess in order to like have that exclusivity or have that role in Patreon, that's how much.
So he has a role, like a seat in Patreon.
Yeah, he has a seat. Yeah.
No fucking way, bro.
He has the actual title. Patreon.
No fucking way, bro. I don't believe that.
Yeah, it was reaching new heights. So
8 figures? No way, bro.
Cool.
So there's a backstory. No. There's a lot of money. And there was an issue, I guess, when it comes to he was trying to get a Spotify deal, and Spotify wasn't going to his terms, like the same terms that they were giving Joe Rogan, and he felt disrespected. So he left Spotify. Notice you cannot find the Joe Budden podcast on Spotify because he does not want his content produced on that. And so he fought. He was kind of independent. Had a nice endorsement with Cash App. I think they still endorse him, sponsor him, whatever you want. Yeah.
They used to. I don't think they.
He does work at Patreon.
I think
he has a deal. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's a deal. It's an 8-figure deal. And so, like, you could see where Rory and Mal could be a little like, hold up, we helped build it together. And it's like, they don't have a percentage of that deal. It's all Joe Budden. Like, give him some money from it, but it's not etched. It's not,
Oh, he's an he's an advisor, and he's head of creator equity, because he handed the Spotify exclusivity deal, because I didn't know he was exclusivity on Spotify, so now he went to Patreon to make more money on Patreon, and they were like, yeah, fuck it, we'll hook you up. I didn't know that. I've never listened to a Joe Budden podcast once in my life, so I wouldn't.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, if you hear how they speak, man, I mean, you're not gonna hear it now, but their chemistry was on another level. It sounded like you and your Xbox Live and you trying with your niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, they talked about shit that we talk about, like on a regular basis. It's like legit. Love the podcast. It gave me a lot of inspiration and I got a lot of.
So from what I understand, the two of the dudes that he was collaborating with, they were on the show and they got low-key mad because he was making more money than Joe. Even though Joe... No?
Oh, wasn't that... So it was the fact that Joe wasn't sharing the profits with them. Or as much. He was just like... There's more to the story. I thought Sparrow was going to tell you this part. So this is what Rory was saying. Rory been on the podcast longer than Mal has. Mal came in around 70 episodes, but that's besides the point. Besides the point was that there was been accounting issues. So, like, I guess there was, like, a big, like, 6-figure... that's a mistake in their accounting, and Rory's people was able to contact Joe's accounting team and correct that issue. But it's like moving forward, them trying to get that information or them trying to like understand what was happening, like like
Joe
going on with money.
Sorry, because Johnson was right. It was discrepancy in the money, right? And the way Joe looked at it is, if you go forward with this, then there's no trust,
Business
and we
partners,
basically
not friends. Yeah.
right. But the thing is, oh yo, that is ridiculous, yo, for
Crazy.
real.
Maul, you could tell it really wasn't about the money. It was really about respect. Like Maul felt disrespected. Maul felt like
What? So
you changing as a person.
So Joe, because you said that Joe wasn't letting them in on the financials of the whole show, and then
No, it was right. It was more like, yeah, we shortchanged you your money, but you better not do nothing about it.
So they were.
Basically.
Oh, so one of them was about like, yo, you should have let me know, and the other one was like, bro, where's my money? And then Joe was like, fuck it, because he's just making the money no matter what, and because he is the main, I guess the main principal of the show, he didn't like let them in, he didn't film it, so they felt disrespected. Is that what am I reading into it right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he already felt offended that they did it on their own, got their own attorney, like their own law team.
But I mean,
him already.
when no, in all fairness though, there's like contracts and stuff that come involved to that. So like, I'm pretty sure Joe brought in some contracts, because when you start making a certain amount of money, you go on to make sure shit is taken care of. You don't want to do what he said, she said.
So they had contracts, but it's not a percentage. They wanted a percentage, especially Rory and Joe.
So they were getting paid just to show up, like a 9 to 5 type shit, but they weren't making like a natural cut of the product, especially since the show was getting bigger and bigger.
Right.
Yeah, they were making a percentage.
So they didn't have ownership of anything besides their voice.
They didn't have ownership. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know, bro. That's a little that's a little fucked up, bro.
Wait. To our valued audience members, it will be an honor for us to get your feedback. And one way you could do that is by leaving us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, or wherever you go to listen to them. This not only helps us know what you guys think of the show, but it helps us get some visibility on those platforms. Also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, Twitter pages. We also got TikTok, Facebook. That's where we'll be giving you guys any updates to keep you guys informed what's going on, and also gives us a chance to interact with you guys. So stay tuned to see what we're going to unlock next. Peace. This is where the main topic comes in. Now you can ask that question, Srad. How you feel about that?
So yeah, Myron, you was already tapping into it. How do you feel about that?
Bro, that sounds sus as fuck, because at the end of the day, friends or not, or people who I just decided to work with, you need it's like you need to talk. It's like a team, bro. Like, you need to communicate shit. So if Joe Budden is not communicating that to anybody else, then yeah, he's at giant fault. Because like, yeah, that just sounds fucked up. Because at first I was like signing with Joe. I'm like, oh no, he's letting them do shit. But like, now that I read more into it, like, no, that's totally fucked up. Joe Budden is shady as fuck for that shit. Just because he's not making no more money off Pump It Up doesn't mean he has to do that shit. No,
you could tell he's trying to cut his losses.
No, that's the problem, and I think that's where it comes from. Why they're even more mad as fuck, because it's like, oh damn, you finally made a new, like, it's like, yeah, you found a new streamer revenue, and then we helped you do that, and then now you're done. And not to mention, now that he lost his partners or his friends or whatever you want to call them, the quality of his content it suffers. Because you're never gonna find that. People who tune in just to hear there'll be people's opinions and stuff like that. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of, you could tell, there's been a lot of mixed reaction with it, because, you know, obviously Joe has his own following, but Rory and Mal have their following as well. So there's a lot of people siding on both sides. Obviously right now they're getting a lot more views. They're getting over 1 million views or whatever it is, because there's a lot of drama, so people are tuning in.
Yeah, of course.
So, but I saw the podcast with the other two people. It's older, you know, because Rory and Mal around their 30s, they're around our age. But the other two people is Ice and Ish, and those dudes are in their 40s.
5 people on Joe Budden podcast.
It's not 5. It's 3 of them. It's 3 of them and Parks. Parks is the producer, but he talks as well. He's the fourth person. But because Rory and Mal
But he
aren't
makes
there,
money.
he replaced them with Ice and Ish. Like, he
Oh.
replaced them really. Like, next episode you're not here, I got 2 other people to help out.
Oh, so he has people who recover just in case like if something happens, they can't make it in. Yeah,
Well, it's just it's just 2 of his friends, honestly.
that just happened to be in the studio while they're recording, or he just hits
Nah,
them up
he
when
just
they
asked
need
him,
him.
like, yo, I need a favor. I need you to help me with this. I'll pay you for it. You know.
Honestly, if I was the other 2 dudes, how much is the producer making? Cause he's producing, so like
Rory and Mal spoke on that too. He felt like, you know, and then they won't say it, or he won't say it, but Parks was saying that he's been overworking, underpaid, because now they got all these different shows. So, you know, it used to be the Joe Budden podcast, and they used to have one episode a week.
right.
He made the Joe Budden network. So now you have this show that has 2 episodes a week, and you have these 2 women's shows. One is called Girl I Guess, and the other one is called See the Thing Is. So now, and he produces all those shows. So he's
Joe
at
Budden
each and
or the
every
dude,
one of
the
those.
producer.
No, Parks, the producer. He's
Okay.
at each and every one of these.
Oh, so he's making a shit ton of money too because he's got to get
He's
his
not
cut.
making as much.
He's-
According to Rory and Mal, he's not making as much as he's working. And they want to know why, and that's another.
Yeah, bro.
Part,
Because at the
it's
end of the day,
making all
he's
money.
the producer. As a producer, if you do not know anyone listening, he's the person who goes and gets the sponsorships and all the deals and shit. He's the one who gets the monies and the space and the shit for the show to run. So if Joe Budden
they're
needs
in
something
his
to
space.
record
It's
or
his
like,
apartment that they record.
huh?
At. It's Park's apartment that they record at. It's his space.
That's
it's the producer's
there
space.
you
Oh.
go. Look at that shit. He's supplying the location, the locale, even if it's
But-
just a friends and shit like that. But yeah,
According to Park, and Rory Mal said that Park said that, right? According to Parks has been paid good. He's good. He's been doing business with Joe Budden for a while, so there's no problem on his side. You could tell he's just trying to collect his paycheck. He ain't trying to cause no beef. It's a crazy situation. Honestly, I feel like it's only created because so much money is involved.
1,000,000%. Money deters everything, and for you to create something and then just let it like go, like deter because of some money, I think that's fucked up. Because if you like at the end of the day, you had a vision, so and like I said, if those were the 2 main dudes, and even though he brings in people occasionally to cover for them, it's not going to be the same quality of content, and that's what sucks at the end of the day.
And you know that, and they know that. That's why they took a stand.
So, and if his quality gets hit, those deals that he's got go away. He's not gonna make as much money. He's not gonna get as much. He's
Not gonna make as much. I mean, he already got 8 figures though, so.
Yeah, but that's over
So,
time.
and
That's not just
he
some blank
had, like-
check. That's not Patreon could be like, yo, you ain't making it no more. You could be
reach a
gone.
contract, there's a lot. He got another allegation coming up. One of the girls from, I think See the Thing Is just came up and said he sexually harassed her, and that's why she left the podcast. So he got a lot of heat coming his way.
Shit,
A
I
lot
didn't
of
hear
drama.
about
Bro.
A lot of shit going his way right now. So I mean, I didn't want to get into that part because it's more new. I didn't get to hear
That's
both
why
sides of it.
is
yet.
that why the memes of him like when he pressed that one card that one time a few years ago is popping up again? Because that shit's hilarious.
Oh, nah, this happened like maybe a couple months ago. Whatever just happened. It's 2 new podcasts, and it was like a woman. I guess he joined their podcast to get some ratings, and then like he if you hear him on the podcast, he talks about he don't talk about dog, but like tell like how you talk when you with your guys. So like, but he won't hide it. He'll gonna flirt with you. He gonna say shit on the air that he probably shouldn't say and stuff like that. And then he went and go hug her and then gyrated his hips while he went to hug her and shit like that. And she didn't feel comfortable and she didn't come back on the show and shit like that. Yeah, he's wrong.
And dudes are weird.
He should have known that shit. Like, come on, we on the Me Too movement. You gonna do some dumb shit like that, bro? Like, but anyway, that's not what we're talking about in this one. So going back, they were on a podcast for about 7 years with him.
What the two dudes
They were making a percentage of the revenue, but they didn't have ownership. Do y'all believe that they should have ownership?
Wait, I mean, I thought they weren't making money, and they're making this percentage of that. So they just meant they weren't making as much as some other people. Okay, that's fair.
But they weren't. No, they weren't mad. They weren't. That's why it's complicated because they're not really clear. It's obviously the money. Because
now
I want to know if they're making as much as they should be making. I think, you know what I'm saying, or is everyone getting the right cut? Because
that's
if you find
something
6 figures missing.
Okay, so then just everyone's going about it wrong. Because if Joe Budden's not saying one thing and then they're not literally bringing it up, then they're both at fault. Because you're supposed to bring in, hey, like, we're on the show, I know we're making money now, so what's the deal? How are we going to cut this, not equally or whatever the fuck it is? Because I think you're right. I think Joe Budden sees himself as a bigger brand, even though he's a 20-year-old rapper from ages ago.
1,000%. He sees himself as a bigger brand. He said it himself.
Yeah, I don't think he's that much of a bigger brand, to be honest. I don't know. Anyway, point is, I think he's just putting himself on the pedestal for no reason. But that's a talk for another day. No, because I think at the end of the day, bro, yeah, like
that's a part of it. That's a part of this topic.
So
ego, right? Ego and friends with business, like that you know. Well, I wanted to get into
my point. At the end of the day, what I'm taking is my point is that yo, you're part of a team, and the team's got to eat. So that means they got to get their share according to what they are, what not. The ownership part is a little bit more tricky because if it was like his idea and he brought him on, type shit, like you could it deals with a lot of other stuff. But it was like if it was like a you know like a group effort and we like both all pitch in, then yeah, 100% is your ownership. But if he just brings them in and they're already getting their money and all that stuff, like I don't. It's like I said, it's
more than anybody else besides Joe Budden.
What happened?
Getting paid more than everyone else besides Joe.
Exactly. Yeah, because essentially they're like you know the main talent, for like a better word. But yeah, the ownership it's a little rocky to me. But like I said, this is why like if it's stuff like that, bro, just Joe Budden should just like whip out a contract and be like, yo, this is and that, and you read your contract, and if you don't like what it says, or what if that contract says, oh, you don't have full ownership of the content, you can use your bits and stuff like that, and that's about it. Then they need to put their foot down and do what it is. It just sounds like those fucking whatever they did wasn't clear enough, and that's the fucked up part.
Yeah, communication was not there.
Yeah, because you can't all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm not making enough, and I don't have my own. Like it just sounds mad random. Or because the money started coming in super fast, they got everything got like lost in translation.
I think it just escalated to a point because it was something that like rifted over the years that I guess they was letting lawyers and accounting and management handle versus them handling it. So and then like I think Joe Budden got a manager as well.
That's the norm. That's usually the norm.
Yeah, no, but it's different. So like we're friends, right? All three of us, we know each other. We haven't even broke bread on this podcast yet. When management and all this other stuff happening, right, and they're starting to handle this business, but y'all might see something, or I might see something that I don't like, or y'all don't like. I'm trying to let them handle it, but every day I'm coming and talk to y'all guys. Things fester up, right? People start coming up with their own assumptions, right? Communication is very important because 100%. Y'all could have a mindset about me growing in y'all head, and y'all could never address me about it, right? Uh-huh. And I could keep on going about certain things, certain ways, and then 2 years later, because you felt that way, and I kept on moving the way I did, now you believe it. Now it's true,
right? Exactly.
And now fuck out of it.
Exactly, bro.
So it doesn't matter even if the communication that it's already done. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, whatever's going on over there is some kid shit, bro. Because to be honest, I'm gonna go get mine.
Real shit, bro. It's some real shit. It's only real shit because it started off shits and giggles. No one knew how big it would be.
Right.
Understand? You don't know how big this would be, and that's why I said this is gonna be interesting because we could use this podcast, we can use this episode. Like, set those boundaries. Set those yes and no's. Set those do's and don'ts. Right now. So, you don't wait 3 years, 5 years, you get some Spotify or Patreon deal or some shit like that.
No, I mean, as far as that's concerned, bro, all three of us are management in our podcast, and everyone else is underlings, and they don't get paid as much as what we do. That's it. So if we eventually get an audio editor, that he's gonna make a little bit. Like, you edit one day and you'll be fine. Here's a money editor for the one day and that's it. Or
okay.
Like that.
What about ownership 33, right? 33.
100%, bro. We're all putting in the same effort. Like, we're all here sitting together talking about the podcast, no? that's the way I see it, which is why I feel like that's so sus that Joe Budden was doing that shit.
Yeah, it's hard. You could tell it was a lot of festering up. You could tell again with Maul, it was more personal friendship stuff when it came to him. Joe didn't even have a problem with Maul. He was just upset that Maul didn't show up that day. Like, what the fuck is going on? I thought you was my boy, and you over here siding with Rory. Rory, you know what I'm saying? Rory over here trying to do all this and that, unless you with him about the shit. You know what I'm saying? That's where it came. And Maul was like, nah, nigga, you just acting funny, nigga. I don't like the way you acting. Like, Maul was like that real nigga. Like, out of here. I don't want your money. I want your respect, nigga. I don't care how much you make. I don't give a fuck. They're gonna talk to me any type of way. So that's where that issue was. It really was just Rory and Maul when it comes to business. I think the main issue was the communication.
You know what I find hypocritical about it? Carlton, they did an episode on the Lil Wayne Drake like Birdman situation. And I don't know if you remember Carlton, and I'm not sure if you're aware of it, Myron. But, you know, it's the same thing with Birdman and Lil Wayne. Their rift in their relationship came when Lil Wayne found out that like Birdman was like owing him like somewhere between like $50 to $100 million. And look at the empire and all the success Wayne has had the past 15 years. And to find out that this man that basically you call your father in the public life has been basically ripping you out of your money the past 15 years and basically didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I know that's.
And they did an episode on this too. That's the funny part about it. Joe Budden did an episode on this. Do I remember his remarks towards the situation? No, but I'm pretty sure it was more of like pay Lil Wayne what he owes, and then Lil Wayne ends up selling Drake's and Nicki's masters.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that whole fight. Kind of like ruined Lil Wayne for a few years, man. Like ruined his whole career and everything.
It slowed him up because he couldn't even drop his album at the time too, either, right?
Dropped nothing, like and that was his boy that had control over his shit.
His dad.
He called daddy that he kissed on the lips.
Yeah, but the same thing too, where like the Britney Spears and her family situation. She can't even touch her money, bro.
Wait, what?
You didn't know that, bro? Yeah, her father. I think it's her father or her parents, something like that, or her family estate. Because of all the shit that happened prior to that, all the years ago when she was shaving her head and she was having like the mental breakdowns, they used that against court and they filed the claim where like she has no access to her money. They all have all that power, and now that she's like in a good space, she can't do anything with her money, bro. And we all know Britney Spears got money, bro. So like, why can't she like go get her money? Because her dad and them don't let her do anything with it, bro. Any of her assets and shit.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, bro, it's wild.
Well,
all on that one claim, and that point in your life, they literally claimed that she was going crazy and she can't touch her money.
Yep.
Or she's not justified, mentally ready to do that.
And we all seen her breakdown in public, so they have a lot of evidence on that.
Exactly. So like she can arguably never go get that because of that shit, even if she's like way better, like healthy and all that stuff now.
Kind of messed up, right? You make all that money now, you can't even touch it.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I got a question for y'all. What's y'all? I guess 5 important values in a friend.
In a friend.
Most 5 important?
Yeah, well,
That's a good one.
Too much?
No, that's not too much. It just caught me off guard, so I wasn't like, I don't know. I can't think of it off the top. The thing that is like jumping around my head right now is honesty. I feel like this is not even just friends in general. I think just as people, like people don't like they shy away. Yeah, it's relationships in general. Like they just shy away from like just being who they are and telling what they being honest. So just keep it 100% honest. Like I'm pretty sure, like you just said, the dude he was just asking for respect, right? If Joe would have kept 100 with him, he didn't give a fuck about the money. He was just like, all right, cool, this is what's happening. Here's what's happening, and nothing. I don't think they would have probably left the show. Because he just wants to be in. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's like a team effort, bro. Like when a relationship or friendship or like in families, like that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I think honesty is definitely one of the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good. Honesty is definitely one. Yeah. I think number two is, are you bringing peace to my life? Because a lot of times people can be a fucking leech, and they can be
Right.
like a a big puddle of fucking sorrow and depression, and they drown you in it. So I think that's another one. Like, what value are you bringing to me? Are you coming over here with your problems and putting them on my shoulders, or it's just like we have a lot of the same interest, and there's sometimes I'll look towards your direction for advice
You,
or
you
help with this, or you bring me some kind of hopefulness. I think that's number two.
I agree.
Uh,
I think when someone is a good person when they want to see the other person succeed, like when they bring that
So,
positivity.
so genuity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, so
genuine. Yeah,
yeah, the purity of the friendship, because sometimes people is just your friend to
Use
for
you.
yeah, for gain, some type of
hmm
gain.
You have this skill, blah blah, or you, you know, you have this status, so I want to be around you.
right.
Or I need someone to talk to, so I'm gonna pick anybody.
Oh yeah, yeah. Uh, that's number two. Number three. Um, I guess dependability. Can you depend on this person?
Oh,
Not
true. Yeah,
use them. Ca-
I
Yeah,
know reliability.
reliability.
reliability. That's yeah, much better word.
Why they
Reliability.
gonna go out the way for you? Are they gonna show up to this important thing? Shit like that, right?
Right. Number four.
Probably don't have one of
Um,
those things like the non-love languages, like fucking 10 core
r-
friends. Shit,
I'm weak.
I don't know. We should make a book right now. So
two more.
say trust comes with honesty, but trust as well. Or, yeah, trust.
Yeah, trust. Yeah. One more, five. Um,
Yeah, I can't think of a
five.
fifth one.
Communication.
One more. Fifth one.
Communication.
Uh,
Which one?
Communication.
I mean,
Respect. I mean, there's more. I mean, respect.
yeah, respect. There you go.
I
There you
think
go.
respect. Yeah, yeah, respect is.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of my number one and twos. I mean, not actually. Genuity is number one, and then two is respect. Well, I don't know. I can't be around someone who don't respect me. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. You don't respect, get the fuck away from me.
Word. They're like, damn, Carlton, can I sleep with your cousin? No kind of
Like, get the
respect,
fuck out of here.
or, or
Oh, I'm a
they
fucking sister. Get the fuck away from me.
or they steal from you or something. Yeah, respect. That's honesty, respect, genuinity slash purity. Um, what was the other two? Trust and
Honesty.
Honesty.
reliability.
Oh, reliability. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Honesty
pretty
and
good.
trust could go into the same category.
It's a pretty good list.
Okay, so now I'm gonna get into a little bit hotter, right? A little hotter. Unless did y'all wanna expand on that list y'all said, or talk about anything else about it?
No,
No.
I feel like we hit the key ones. I feel like, especially at our age, I feel like when you're 20, you just be like, all right, this is my nigga. Oh, yeah, this girl's my friend, or, whatever. Just because the convenience.
Yeah, you get a little older, you kind of like can't, like you said too. People who bring you down, leash you down. You can't be around those kind of people. People who like get you out your moods
Right.
and just get you in a bad mood. Like, can't just accept that in your life at this point. Um, but yeah, my bad. You good?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. We're checking on your cat.
Are you on TikTok? He coming to start. He got more likes than me, man. He got more followers already.
Who, the cat?
Hmm.
Wait, your cat
don't
has a
say-
TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm weak.
Don't steal his views, man.
Big facts. Get him on the podcast. We got a star.
All right, we got a star, man. You got a TikTok, man. I was like, what? Let me stop. No, all right. Next question. So, because we work in business together, but I'm a little bit of a hothead. I think y'all know that. Get pissed off very quickly. I might say some shit that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Am I lying?
Yeah.
Lying?
No, you're not lying.
No, you're not lying. We're agreeing with you.
Asshole, you're not supposed to agree. Let me stop. So what are some deal breakers with friends in business? Some deal breakers, like Moore had his thing about respect, right? Obviously, respect is a big one, but what are some deal breakers? What are those things that you say I will not want to move forward with? If you start seeing it.
That's a good question.
One of the things I would not want to see moving forward. I think it's more maybe a little bit of lack of motivation. I guess.
What do you mean exactly?
Oh, like like.
You want to see more like hype, more energy?
Yes. I mean, I know you can't have that all the time because people be having their weeks and stuff like that or their days. But yeah.
Lack of passion.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I agree with that.
But then again, you can't really put that on everybody because something might come up or the focus is on something a little bit different, or spread too thin.
True. True. What else?
That was a good one, Marlon. That was a good one.
No, I'm making y'all niggas think today. I told you it was gonna be
Honestly,
interesting.
that's
I guess devaluing your partners, your group
Yeah.
mates. When you devalue them, you try to diminish
Oh yeah.
their worth,
Yeah.
their importance, their input. That was a real good one, Myron. Let's see what's next. Let's see if we can come up with three more.
Work
Think
ethic.
it goes
Work
with what
ethic.
you were saying. Yeah, I'm about to say that. It's gonna go for kind of what you were saying, Myron. Like, it's like consistency and work ethic. Like, the same energy, being consistent with it, and because that goes back to motivation. When we have some consistency, when you have I can't think of the word, but when things are just rolling, when things are going, that motivation is there. Everything is going smoothly. It's like 1, 2, 3, and then whatever. Even when those things outside of work is going on, or outside of what you're doing is going on, you come in here because everything is 1, 2, 3. You already know what to expect and shit like that.
Lack of honesty.
Mm.
And I say that because, let's just say in the situation we were just talking about earlier, you have deals and things under the table, and you're not being forthcoming with your partners. Not saying necessarily even if it's just a deal that's just with solely for Joe Budden or for Mal or Roy, just put it forth. There's no need to hide it or make it a secret.
I don't see why. Yeah, that was crazy. I don't think I ever got my take. Yeah, I would have gave him a percentage, to be honest. I would have gave him some ownership because they've been in the podcast for 7 years. Even if it started with me, I would have acknowledged that.
Especially with the Patreon deal. I would have reworked some contracts and given him something because that's wild, bro.
Yeah.
Telling you, man.
Let me ask you a question. Let's just say, because I'm drinking Gatorade. Let's just say Gatorade sponsors and executives come to me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not interested in the deal unless it's a Code 99 spread, Carlton and Marlon thing, and they're just like, I want spread solely, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened with Joe Budden and Spotify. They wanted more ownership, and Spotify just wanted Joe.
See, but
That's
that's
his name.
different though, bro. Because if Gatorade goes to Sprad, that's his deal. Obviously, he got that deal because the podcast was making the rounds, right? And they caught the attention, right? So if they just want it solely for him, he's the athlete. He's the one working out. That makes sense. Like I wouldn't. It's great that he wants to bring us along. That's dope. But if they only want him, like I also won't get mad.
Yeah, it depends on the business. But if they go Sprat, we want to make this deal for a podcast, and they use us, and it's just like, but nigga, it's all of ours. It's different.
Right.
Doing some athletic shit, and they just want him to sport their stuff. That's you, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't even get mad. That's not mad. That's like awesome, bro. Mind you, that's still free stuff for the podcast because you're
not gonna have me drinking Gatorade running. I'm gonna be out of breath on that fucking camera. You know what I'm saying? Sprad though.
No, but it makes sense. But I feel like a lot of people, group members, companies, whatever, they get into that situation, and then the others, like, they may take it personal.
I think it's
jealousy.
Jealousy.
Security.
Maybe lack of like knowledge, like in the sense of like like you don't know what's really going on. Like,
and that goes back to communication.
Maybe that Gatorade deal is for you who wants to like eventually open up a gym or something like a fitness center or some shit like that. We don't know that unless you let us know that. Exactly. So like, I don't know. Yeah, that's just again, this just goes back to the communication.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Again, I don't hit it on the point. There's no need to even reiterate it. There's no need to reiterate it for the fact that, like, if it's solely for you and like what you're doing with your brand, that is completely fine. You know,
right?
But it'd be different. What happens if it's different? If they try and take Code 99's product and make it his, or make it one of ours, not just
that's where the issue comes.
I mean, if they try and make this whole trio product and say, "Yo, Carlton, we want you to be," or Myron, we want you to be it. It's just yours.
That's the issue. I would like, nah, I can't cut the deal. They have to come with me. This is whatever. So
for anybody who needs to know, the Code 99 product is not a sole entity, right? It's all three of us on it. We started together. First episode has all three of our voices, and we all work towards it. It goes that. Let's clear that up. So anybody who's trying to get us, please for that, do all of us. Now it's different if like they say we want you to do a podcast of your own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm still gonna put Code 99 on.
Podcast. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's people who do multiple. I know there's people who like work with Joe Budden. They have a podcast of their own. You know, that's normal. Oh, but like if they try to take the content that we all created together and then do it for a sole person, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't accept that. And I'll probably, I'll communicate. I'll be telling y'all motherfuckers when y'all hit me up individually, I say put it in the group chat. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like to everybody be on the same page. I think that's the best thing. Yeah. Well, I wanted to say I think core value. I mean, it's kind of off of everything we're saying, but it's a communication and just like not being afraid to speak up. Feel like I say a lot and y'all don't. Feel like if y'all don't feel like your voices are being heard or you have an idea that's not being addressed or whatever the case may be, or you have a problem, don't be afraid. We all adults, we all, we all work together. I mean, I work with Sprad and I work with you, Myron, you know what I'm saying? And in like actual business. So don't be afraid. It's one thing that you learn in management is confrontation. It don't always have to be bad. Confrontation ends up so bad when everything festers, huh?
That's it.
It just has a negative connotation.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
And then that comes back to the core values of a friendship or any type of relationship, and that goes to respect. There shouldn't be no issue trying to confront anybody if you do it with respect, right?
1,000%.
I mean that was the only thing I was going to say about that. It just made me think about it because you said that. Yeah. We have a time.
1:03.
Holy shit.
Ah, bueno.
So let's finish this off with this question. Do you have any questions y'all wanted to ask?
No.
No.
I'm good.
All right, so name three goals or expectations you have that you want out of this podcast between the three of us.
Opportunities for all of us,
Sound like Obama.
bro. That man's a goat.
Opportunities for all Americans.
No, but yeah, no opportunity at all. Cause I know Carson's always been interested in getting into the media stuff. So it's good that we're all doing this together, and he gets that kind of exposure. And Sprat too, like I know he wants to start making more of fitness stuff. So this also helps, like so. Get your feet wet too. Maybe he wants to start a fitness podcast. We don't even know. And he's gonna talk, to all these like bodybuilders and shit.
That gonna be
yeah.
what is that? Big Papa Pump.
The Big Papa Pump cast. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I can't believe Lakers are getting trashed right now.
I could believe it.
With a broken CP3.
Word.
It's a young team that knows their roles with some leadership. That's why.
Right.
Opportunities, like Myron said, to break that down more, just like, coming out with more creative and innovative ideas, and projects. Two more things. Consistency. I think a lot of times, and you want to keep up that work ethic. I think a lot of times people, once they hit an initial high, they don't know how to keep it going, and it's just like they think it's gonna last forever, like that one big moment. Number 3, to keep the brotherhood going. That's, as like we were talking about earlier. Who would ever thought this was gonna happen between Joe, Mal, and Roy?
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna piggyback. Yeah, like I said, opportunity for all, consistency, and just growth in the chemistry. We still young at this. This is our 17, 17, right? 17
episode.
This is the 17th episode, but this is less than half a year of us doing this together. So, or a half a year at this point. This is very new to all of us. We haven't even been able to really meet up together and do this podcast. Record, hang out. There's been a whole pandemic. Everything's just starting to open up. So, man, that's where the chemistry gonna grow when we get to do these joint projects together. What's up, Bronx native? We headed towards your way, and others. You know what I'm saying? So,
for the collabs.
I gotta go. I want to hit the number 50 by the end of the year.
50 episodes?
By the end of the year.
We could do that. I think we could definitely hit that.
I mean, that means we have to some weeks have more than 2 episodes.
Because it's 52 weeks. Yeah, 52 there's 52 weeks in the year, so. Yeah.
Oh, here we go with LeBron. Here we go.
Peace. All right.
He wilding right now. He wilding right now.
So I guess we cracked the code, huh?
Yeah, we did.
Yes, I agree. Crack that hole.
Crack that hole. Nah, we had a good convo about friends of business. It gets a little shaky. I'm sorry to see Joe Budden podcast go. That was like my favorite podcast. I still watch it, but it is a difference. Hopefully, if Rory and Mal get their own thing going, which is speculation, I'll be watching. I hope y'all got a little gist on who we are as a group and what we expect of each other. And I'm gonna just put this on this podcast. I pray that we continue striving, we continue growing together, and we don't reach those issues. And we learn from what happened with Joe Budden and his podcast. All right?
Big facts.
This your boy Carl G signing out.
Myron.
It's your boy Sprat. That was episode 17. Code 99 Podcast, Friends in Business. 3 guys, 1 code. Check us out next time.
But yeah, follow us on TikTok, on Twitters and Instagram and stuff. Discord coming soon.
Yes, sir.
Check out the OnlyFans coming soon, end of the summer.
Nah. Patreon and OnlyFans.
Oh my god. I do want a Patreon though, but that's later.
That's terrible. We're gonna do Patreon, OnlyFans. That's Brad.
I'm joking.
He gonna have his special interviews.
My man's gonna have a silhouette challenge and all that.
I'm done.
Alright, bye. Later.